Hello, friends, and welcome back to the EMT podcast, where your entrepreneur mentorship training takes place. I'm Judy Tebow, your local entrepreneur coach. In this episode, we are going to talk all things commercial insurance. What do you need? Why do you need it? And how do you get it? So today, our guest is Stan Tebow. Yes, we are actually married. And he has been in the commercial or in the insurance industry for many years. So welcome, Stan, and thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that.
All right. So tell us, how did you get into insurance and how long have you been there?
Well, I just celebrated last Sunday my 39th anniversary of agency ownership. So it's been a long time. And I actually fell into it by accident totally. I was between jobs and was seeing my agent to make a premium payment. He said, here, call this guy. If you get hired, I get $300. So that's how it got started. The passion for it, though, developed very shortly after I got into it.
Yeah, and what gives you that passion? What is it about insurance that has made you stay in it for a long time? Most entrepreneurs don't stay in business for as long.
Primarily, it's the protecting of people. You know, we provide a valuable service, and to have the ability to restore people's lives financially after some sort of a loss occurs.
Right. Okay. All right. So as an agency owner, you're uniquely qualified to talk to us about being an entrepreneur, and then what do entrepreneurs need and why? So in my experience with entrepreneurs, especially young and new entrepreneurs, they're really good at what they do. What they don't know, they tend to avoid or try to hope that it won't happen. The good old hopium drug, right? Yeah. So what is it about insurance that they need to consider?
Well, the biggest part of commercial insurance is that it's a lot the same whether you're a small startup or you're a larger established company. If you do it part-time, you have a lot of the same needs for a commercial policy as you do as if you're doing it full-time and making your primary income that way. Liability, of course, is the big one. Not just, for something happening on the job or because maybe you have a storefront and somebody trips and falls. You have to have premise liability to cover that. And then, of course, if you're doing any kind of a service or providing a product for somebody, then you have to have performance liability, whether that be in the form of a bonding or job completion liability. So there's multiple facets, way more than we have time for here. But the main thing is to make sure that you're carrying all the insurance you need.
So what is the best way then for a young entrepreneur? Say he wants to go out there and he's starting a painting company, or he's decided that he's really good at paving. What are the first steps?
Well, from the insurance standpoint, go sit down with a qualified broker or agent that offers the type of coverage you need, because they're going to ask you questions about what you do and establish those needs along the way. You mentioned painters. Well, okay, you need to have coverage for if you damage somebody's house while you're in the process of painting it. What if you put a ladder through the window? Or something like that? You'd be responsible for that, being the contractor. You need to have coverage for that. If you have an employee that falls off a ladder, you should have workers' comp to cover that. A lot of times you'll see small businesses, startups especially, they'll want to use casual labor, a friend of a friend or something like that, and not have that protection in place. Could totally ruin them financially for the rest of their lives if something happened.
Yes. Yeah, you can see that. Your friend falls off a ladder or hurts themselves or becomes injured that they cannot work. They would have probably few options then but to then go after your insurance or lack thereof.
Right. Absolutely. And in a lot of states, your income can be garnished for up to 30% for the rest of your life. Wow. to provide for that person who you've harmed.
Right. As we've talked before, when you start a business, you have started a living entity that you become responsible for. And insurance is a huge part of your way of protecting. So the other question I have for you is about when you're using your commercial, having a commercial policy on your vehicle versus your own personal. When does it cross the line, and when do you need to consider that you need a commercial policy?
Well, the simple answer of crossing the line is it crosses frequently.
Okay.
And people don't understand that. A general rule of thumb is if you are using your vehicle in your business, you need to have a commercial policy on it. A couple of reasons for that. One is if you do have an accident that you're responsible for, and the person that you harm or hit has discovered that you are on business when you were doing it, you're going to be sued for more money. It's just a fact of life. They figure business owners are wealthy, so they're going to come after the business and all of the assets the business have. So that's one reason. Another reason, of course, is exclusion. If you have a personal policy and you read the document, you'll find that if you're hauling goods and supplies to and from a job site, and or hauling things for hire, your accident would very well be excluded from your personal policy. So you're totally exposed.
So they may not cover your accident.
Exactly.
Oh, whether you were at fault or not.
It would not matter at that point. That's right.
So what I hear you say is that you really need a trusted agent. So I don't know how many of you have actually sat down with an agent. I sit down with mine every day. So, but it's really important that you get to understand, regardless of whether or not you're actually going to provide the insurance, you're not writing it yourself, you need to go get it, you're not writing the legal documents and all the rest, but you do need to understand what you need, why you need it, and then make sure that you are fully covered. So thank you. I sure do appreciate you coming in and talking with us. And what's your message to all our entrepreneurs out there?
Go find an agent that you trust, sit down with them and discuss every facet of your business, because they may come up with questions that will prompt you into thinking of other things, and it will help make sure you're protected.
Thank you. I sure do appreciate it. Well, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to introduce another person who does a different kind of insurance, which is just as valuable. We'll be right back. All right, and welcome back. Now I'd like to introduce you to Tom Betti. Tom has been in the insurance industry a long time, not quite as long as Stan, as you can tell by the more youthful style and look. But Tom, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Okay, my name's Tom Betti. I've been in the business about 30 years, so not 39, but 30 is quite a bit. And I help folks with life insurance at all kinds of levels, helping business owners figure it out, individuals and such.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you for joining us today. I really do appreciate you coming down. Tom has actually joined us from Alaska. So he's down here on a visit. So I decided I'd just drag him on in. So why is life insurance from an entrepreneur business side important?
Well, there's several reasons. And I will say, to preface it, a lot of just my education and training and study on life insurance and its application has been important to me, but more important has been the experience and what I've seen firsthand and the impact death has on a business and a family when the main guy is not there anymore. And so there's a few things that come to mind, Judy. One of them is business succession. And that is, if the business owner's not here, what happens to all the people he has working for them and the families? What about payroll and certain things? And a lot of times upon a death, sometimes the business assets are tied up. Here, a life insurance policy comes in, provides cash, so the families can figure things out, some of the important key persons in the business can figure some things out, and it just gives breathing room.
Very important. When you think about death happening, there's so many things going on. And yes, having a plan whereby you actually get, like Stan says, you guys are the only ones that bring a solution and not just condolences.
Yep.
Yeah, to a situation. So, what is when you talked about the death of the primary owner? What about like in the sale of a business and all that kind of stuff? Would life insurance help in that?
Well, there is in some levels. If we're talking like one aspect of life insurance owned by businesses is what are called buy-sell agreements. And it's a document. The insurance company doesn't set up the document, a lawyer does. And that is in the event of a death of a business owner where there's a partnership involved.
Okay.
There's legal jargon that basically says, okay, upon death, then cash becomes available into the business to basically pay off the other family. So there's no more interest of a family member coming in and now being a partner with the business owner, and maybe they don't see eye to eye in the business.
Gotcha.
So it's written up, and I've dealt with that before. That has actually happened. And so the money comes in, pays off the family, and they're taken care of the way they need to be taken care of. Without it, and I've also seen this firsthand, where a family-owned business, two brothers, I had mentioned to them, you need to do something. They never did anything. And upon the death of one, the wife of the deceased was now left with trying to get help, and the brother wasn't really going to help.
Oh.
And so it just fell apart. Eventually, the business does not exist anymore. And you're talking pennies on the dollars to create these policies. They're not expensive.
Right.
And it's really easy planning. And the same thing, I remember him saying, well, my brother will take care of her. My brother will take care of her. That sadly did not happen.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things we want to believe, the best of everybody, but actually having a plan in place that just takes it out of the equation. So people think of life insurance as just being, something you need for when you die, right? That, hey, you're dead, so what does it really matter? Yeah. So just in general, when is the best time to get your insurance? Do you wait until you're a little older in the tooth, like maybe me? Or should you be, younger, healthier, and, more sprite?
Yep, good question. And so here's the thing. Life insurance is based on age, and it's based on health.
Oh, okay.
So the sooner, the better. And I can just go in all my 30 years and just think of folks that came a little bit too late when they realized they need it. I'll give you an example. Even someone who's not a business owner, they're just a 23-year-old, and I bring up the topic of life insurance, and they're going, well, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I have no debt. But my thought is that at some point you probably will get married. At some point you probably will have debt and have kids. Why not get it now while you're healthy? There's a young man I know that has diabetes, and it's real severe, and he could not get life insurance now. Now, maybe in the future he'll be able to, but now you're talking a higher cost. So get it young. And even for my business owners, well, I'm just a small business owner now, and I'm not, at a position and so on and so forth where I feel that I need it. But at some point you will need it. Take care of it now. Why not spend $30 or $40 now to create a contract versus spending $300 or $400 later is really the moral of the story.
All right. Well, thank you. That is some good lessons to learn. Again, as entrepreneurs, you're really good at what you do. What I've found is that you're not really good at what you don't know. And obviously, insurance is one of those things. It is so important. I know that Stan and Tom have done many death claims and have delivered money to their clients, and it's never a good thing to have to try and grieve while financially trying to figure out what you're going to do for your family. Are you going to stay in the same home? Are you going to be able to keep your business? Are you going to be able to have the time with which to make those financial decisions? So life insurance is just one of those things that's so easy to do, so few dollars, and yet makes a huge impact. So thank you again for coming. Enjoy your visit to our fine state. And we look forward to meeting with you again. Well, thank you for joining us again. I'm Judy, and if you need any help to elevate your business to the next level, then don't be afraid to call. Give us a call, email, or text, and we'd be happy to help you. The number is 907-354-6972. Again, thank you for joining us and have a great day.